on people.
So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer.
Hold on. The vice president wants me to try to get people fired from their jobs? First off, as a white woman, we've been doing that for years, okay? Stop appropriating our culture. But secondly, is this what we want? The vice president's job isn't to lead an online mob. The vice president's job is to... Okay, he doesn't really have a job, but you get my point.
Desi Lydic isn't just roasting Trump and JD Vance, she's turning their political circus into a full-blown comedy clinic. One built his image on chaos, the other on acting like he can control it. And together they've become the political buddy movie nobody asked for. But everybody keeps watching. Lydic cuts through the madness with razor-sharp sarcasm, turning every headline into a punchline. It's more than mockery, it's a masterclass in how delusion and ambition collide, and end up writing their own sketch.
President travels overseas, it's important for them to project strength and dignity, although an uninvited insect made that a little harder for President Trump. Damn, girl, you got moves. What is this? Is he voguing? Ronnie, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Jordan couldn't be more wrong. JD Vance is a terrifying prospect.
Is it because of his views on women's rights?
Yeah, and also because he has a beard. I'm sorry, but I do not trust a man if I don't know where...
Desi Lydic dives straight into the circus that never packs up. Trump and JD Vance, the dynamic duo of delusion standing side by side like the political buddy comedy. No one ordered. Trump, the self-proclaimed emperor of chaos, still thinks he's running America's biggest reality show, while JD Vance plays the eager sidekick desperate to prove he deserves a role in the script.
But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good.
Remember, call your doctor if your handshake lasts longer than 4 hours. But this is such a stark difference from how every other leader on this trip has interacted with Trump. Malaysia's throwing a concert for him. Korea's giving him crowns. Everyone's kissing his ass. Then she comes in like his mom forced him to have a play date with a weird kid.
If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon, because what we're watching isn't politics, it's improv theater with Trump and JD Vance as the headliners. No script, no logic, just chaos wrapped in patriotism and dripping with ego. Desi laughs because only in Trump's America can ambition and absurdity share the same slogan. Trump, of course, steals the spotlight, turning every moment of power into his own reflection, even when everything around him is falling apart.
Talker, beards hide things. Blackheads, whiteheads, lack of chin, too much chin. And he's open about all of his horrific policies. So if that beard is hiding something, it must be really bad.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Beards do not hide anything.
Oh, really? Not even a Sharpie dick that never fully...
Jesse says he's like a magician who keeps pulling the same rabbit from the same hat and still waits for applause. Every scandal feels like a rerun, every speech a remix of last week's chaos dressed up with new hand waves. He doesn't change, he just sells the same failure as vintage greatness. And beside him, JD Vance nods along like a student in a class where the teacher keeps rewriting the lesson while pretending it's genius.
How their greeting was. The bigger question was what happened at that meeting. Trump said that China has been eating America's lunch for decades, and this was his chance to seal a major trade deal that finally makes things right.
President Trump back on Air Force One after his meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, where the leaders agreed to a tentative truce in the trade war. That brings tariffs and other measures back to where they were before recent escalations.
He's basically reset the clock to January.
He used to be the critic, now he's the cheerleader waving pom-poms for a man who forgot the score. And Desi can't tell what's funnier, Trump thinking he's a legend or JD pretending he's more than background noise. JD Vance's evolution isn't growth, it's a speed run into self-parody.
Back with another installment of Republican beauty trends. Y'all have been flooding my DMs to talk about JD Vance and his fierce eye makeup, so let's get into it. As a reminder, I am not a makeup expert or even someone who really regularly washes her face. Now, if we look closely, we can see that Vance has lined the inner corner of his eyes with a dark black. That could be to make his baby blues pop, or it could be to reflect the dark black part of his soul that
Once he wrote a book dissecting the American dream. Now he's the footnote proving why it's flatlining Desi jokes he didn't sell out. He just swapped his values for a season pass to the MAGA theme park, where the rides are broken, the logic's gone. And the only rule is clap harder when it all collapses. Trump's still performing like it's episode infinity. Every scandal a rerun, every comeback a reboot. Desi says he's the only man who can sell chaos. As a comeback pitched, the same story repackaged as unprecedented outrage. Every so-called win feels like a blooper that somehow made the final cut. It's political theater with no plot, no purpose, just a one-man show on endless repeat with JD as the silent understudy waiting for lines that never come.
You have no idea what you're announcing, do you? You're just going to go into the next room and be like, guys, I promised them something big. Does anyone have anything good? I have 2 to 5 days, and don't say Jell-O shots, Pete. Next time, just come out when you're ready to say the announcement. We don't need a pre-announcement. This is worse than my cousin announcing that they're trying for a third.
Desi imagines their campaign meetings as a live-action cartoon, Trump tossing slogans like confetti, while JD scribbles frantic notes trying to decode the madness. Trump rants about greatness. JD nods like he's unlocking life's secrets, though it's probably just the caffeine talking together. They're a duet of delusion, one addicted to applause, the other to approval, both allergic to reality. Desi says it's like a motivational seminar hosted by denial and desperation, yet somehow they keep selling the crowd on the idea that delusion equals destiny. JD's loyalty has turned into performance art. Desi calls him the human retweet, no original thoughts, just recycled enthusiasm. His speeches echo Trump's tone, but with half the passion and twice the confusion, like watching a ventriloquist dummy forget its lines every time he tries to sound bold. You can almost hear Trump whisper, "Make it about me." Desi calls it sitcom tragedy. JD thinks he's the star, not realizing he's the warm-up act for a man who'll never leave the stage. Trump's rallies now feel like nostalgia tours, the same slogans, same promises, same blame, just louder. Desi calls it the Make America Rewind tour.
Trump's accidental dance moves are way more impressive than his intentional ones. Very weird. Anyway, I do understand why he was so frantic. That mosquito was also asking Trump about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, to be clear, Trump was not just wasting time playing golf. He was also wasting time.
The man can talk for 2 hours about his own greatness and still forget what he was talking about halfway through its performance, without progress, a never-ending loop of grievances sold as gospel. Desi says he's like a motivational speaker for people who don't want answers, just louder echoes of their anger. And right beside him, JD nods along like he's witnessing divine truth instead of political reruns. The dynamic is almost sweet in a tragic comedy kind of way. JD, the once outsider, now orbiting Trump like a planet that's lost its own gravity. Desi jokes it's not mentorship, it's absorption. Trump doesn't build allies, he devours them. Everyone in his orbit starts out ambitious and ends up anonymous. Desi lays out the pattern, the promise, the praise, the public humiliation. It's loyalty with one reward, irrelevance, and JD looks eager to claim it, smiling through every contradiction like sincerity's optional. Desi paints their rallies, Trump struts, JD beams, the crowd chants. It's not leadership, it's theater, volume over vision. The audience isn't seeking direction, they're waiting for the next punchline. Trump doesn't need policy, he's got applause lines. JD doesn't need ideas, he's got proximity. Together they're a duet of delusion, harmonizing perfectly in self-worship, a perfectly choreographed dance of denial, waving flags to its own rhythm.
His eyeliner is clearly an all-day wear, from the Senate floor to CNN. So I'm going to guess he's using either Maybelline Eye Stick in the shade Faux Hillbilly or Revlon Super Smudge in the shade Business Ewok. If I were Vance, I would actually recommend putting the liner under the waterline to create more of a doe-eyed look. But with this technique, he's serving more of an eye support.
Jesse says Trump's speeches are like watching someone perform with a thesaurus on stage, tossing fancy words over hollow thoughts and hoping no one spots the mismatch. He preaches unity while fueling division, truth while defending confusion. It's verbal gymnastics, flashy from afar, but empty up close. Desi says JD is his star pupil, fluent in contradiction, fluent in blame, fluent in saying everything while meaning absolutely nothing. Trump's leadership style hasn't evolved, it's still about being the loudest man in the room. Desi jokes if he had a motto it would be authority through acoustics. The louder he yells, the more presidential he feels. Every crisis becomes proof he's the victim, every headline proof he's the hero. Desi can't help but laugh at the irony. The self-proclaimed outsider, now surrounded by yes men who mistake obedience for purpose. JD Vance is just the newest contestant in Trump's loyalty games, where the only rule is clap harder. Desi says it's not conviction, it's choreography. Every nod, every grin, every yes rehearsed in front of a mirror that reads flattery equals survival.
The president capping off his trip by officially opening his latest golf course today in Scotland.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Just a reminder, this man is still the president of the United States. There's a lot going on in the world, and he's at a ribbon-cutting ceremony to promote his golf.
JD seems more than willing to play along, even if it means his authenticity vanishes entirely. Desi calls it the ultimate political disappearing act. Ambition swallows integrity whole. JD once questioned Trump's chaos. Now he defends it like a lawyer on retainer. It's not transformation, it's adaptation. And in Trump's orbit, adaptation means becoming a mirror that only reflects one face. It's political cosplay. Two men pretending to save a country they helped complicate. Desi laughs. If self-awareness were currency, both would be bankrupt. Every Trump boast reveals just how small his world has shrunk. It's not a coalition anymore. It's a congregation. He doesn't lead, he preaches. He doesn't plan, he performs. Desi says watching Trump campaign is like watching an actor forget the cameras are off, speaking in reruns, arguing with ghosts, and peddling the same miracle cure that failed the first time. JD Vance just stands there nodding, the eternally eager sidekick in a motivational infomercial that never ends.
I just want to make sure, is it really good news?
It's going to be a truly earth-shattering and positive development for this country and for the people of this country.
Earth-shattering, wow. Okay, as long as I don't have to clean it up, I guess I'm in. Just tell me when exactly to tune in, and I will clear my schedule.
And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave.
Desi shifts his focus back to JD, marveling at how fast he's become fluent in Trump. The man who once billed himself as a truth teller now treats facts like hostile witnesses. Desi calls it erosion, not evolution. Every repeated talking point erases another layer of who JD used to be. It's not conviction, it's camouflage. JD didn't join the movement, he melted into it. Trump, meanwhile, still sees himself as untouchable. Desi dubs him the eternal protagonist of his own myth, always the hero, forever wronged by reality. Even gravity would be fired for trying to make him fall. The contrast is striking. JD, who once dissected broken systems, now props one up. Trump, who once promised to drain swamps, swims comfortably in one. Trump needs an echo, JD needs an audience. Together, they've forged a flawless feedback loop of absurdity.
This is the perfect time for President Trump to meet the moment with his famous deal-making skills and master negotiating to end this shutdown.
President Donald Trump currently on his way to Asia for a high-stakes tour of the region.
Okay. Government will be here when you get back, maybe. Boys trip!
Desi points out the funniest part. They both genuinely believe they're rewriting history. Trump sees himself redeeming his legacy. JD thinks he's shaping the next generation. But history has a cruel sense of humor. It doesn't reward performance, it records it. Desi says that in 50 years, textbooks won't recall their promises, only their punchlines. Trump will be the cautionary tale of unchecked ego. JD the footnote on what happens when ambition forgets authenticity. Together, they won't be remembered as leaders. They'll be remembered as the longest-running sketch in political comedy. Desi imagines Trump reviewing coverage like a director obsessed with lighting, optics, and applause, while JD studies every move, trying to imitate the act. The problem? You can't fake charisma that's already counterfeit. Desi laughs, saying it's like watching the Rolling Stones forget how to play instruments yet insisting the crowd sing along anyway. And somehow, for their audience, it works. It's emotional theater, not governance. Trump sells anger disguised as patriotism. JD sells agreement disguised as thought. Desi lands the final punch. Trump wanted to be immortalized as a legend. JD wanted to be remembered as a thinker. What they got instead was reruns. Trump lives on in monologue jokes and late-night sketches. JD lingers as the echo of one. Poetic justice. The man who craved worship became a punchline, and the man who wanted purpose became its reflection. Because history doesn't preserve power, it preserves irony. And maybe, just maybe, even Trump will see that.